right. Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to another episode. I'm so glad you guys are here today, tuning into the podcast. So much love to you guys always. I just got back from an incredible week in Nashville, and the weather was stunning. In the mornings, I was going to work out at a nearby CrossFit gym that's actually like a street over, and it was like crisp fall morning air. It felt so good. And then I get back to Oklahoma and I'm like, shit, it's hot. It's just hot here. Anyways, I will have to tell you guys all about that trip on another episode, but it was for continued education, a cohort that I'm in called the Millie Club with Amy Porterfield. And it is part of my continued education this year. And it was kind of like the end of our wrap up. It was our last live event, and it was unbelievable. So, just got back and back in the office and working. So, today we're going to be diving into the brutally honest truth about employees, assistants, and everything in between. And I'm excited to talk to you guys today about this, just to give you the raw, real truth of having employees or having assistants or having team members. And let me just say, too, it doesn't matter your business model. Let's just talk about team members. So whether they are renters, independent contractors, employee based, assistants, they're on payroll. I don't really care what your setup is. If you have team members and you're leading and growing them, pouring into them, which you probably are if you're listening to this podcast, we're going to just give you guys the brutally honest truth today. So, are you guys with me? You ready? All right, so let's start out. Everyone loves the idea of having a team until they actually have one. How many of you guys have said, why am I doing this right now? This is so much harder than when I just worked for myself. This is way more difficult than when I was in my solace suite or I rented a booth at this salon. Like, you just kind of stop yourself some days and you're like, what the fuck am I actually doing? This is hard. This shit is hard. And I'm not here to tell you that it should be easy, because it's not. It is hard. That's why not everyone does it, because it's challenging and it's difficult, and it comes with having a lot of difficult conversations and people not liking you and you're the bad person and all the things. So I always say it's funny. It's like everyone loves this fantasy idea of having this beautiful team and doing all the things until you actually have one. So I want to roll right into a story about my first assistant that I hired at the age of 23 years old. I hired my first employee, 23. I was a baby. Her name was Katie. And I was managing my partnership at the time. And honestly, I was scared to death to let my assistant touch my guest hair. And I'm going to admit, I was a total control freak. Some would probably say that I'm still a little bit of a control freak, but not like I used to be. I used to be a crazy control freak. So I've improved a lot. So if you think I'm a little bit crazy now, like not like I was 10, 15 years ago. All right. I thought that having an assistant would completely free up my time. But instead, it introduced an entirely new level of hard. And what's the saying? New level, new devil. Have you guys ever heard that before? When you reach a new level, new devil comes your way. New opportunities come with new challenges. And it did give my body a break. And at the time, I remember I was going to the chiropractor. I couldn't even hold my shears. I was working 6, 7 days a week behind the chair. I was really working about 10 to 12 hours a day. And my hands would lock up because I was servicing so many guests. This was probably in like my prime of servicing somewhere between maybe 120, 130 guests a month. Do you guys know how many people that is? That's a lot of freaking people. And hiring an assistant, it did give my body a break, but it did not give my mind a break. It actually was more challenging in my mind, because you're learning to use your brain, more than you use your hands when you start hiring and training. Okay, so by the end of this little episode, you're going to walk away with the truth about what it takes to lead employees and assistants, the mindset shift needed to grow people instead of just managing them, and the reassurance that if it feels hard, because it probably does right now, it's probably because you're doing it right, even when it doesn't feel like it some days. And some days are just fucking hard. I'm just going to say it. All right, let's talk about fantasy versus reality, okay? Let's talk about the fantasy that we all buy into before we ever hire someone. The fantasy is once I hire, everything's going to get easier. Everything's going to change. If I just hire someone, my life's going to get so much easier. And I kind of call bullshit on that. I don't necessarily think that's true. So, reality, once you hire, everything changes and some shit does get harder. All right? Some. And some shit gets easier. All right? Like your body. I will say it's giving you a break. If done properly. Let's talk about if done properly for a second. If your assistant is doing more watching than doing, your body probably still hurts. Our assistant program is fast, furious, hands-on, and they should be hands-on in every aspect of the service from start to finish. All right? So chaos is always going to come first. It's uncharted territory. You're learning to lead while still working behind the chair. So you are using a lot of your brain. You're having conversations with your guest. You're doing their hair. You're putting on, color, doing the foils, shampooing, mixing up root taps and toners and all the things, all while training someone. No wonder when you get off work why you're exhausted, because your brain is multitasking constantly during the day. Okay? Your craft takes the back seat while growing people becomes your new craft. Your role shifts from being the worker service provider to being the servant leader and the mentor. Years ago, I had a coach tell me, Lacey, you're not growing a business anymore. You're not pouring into your clients. You're not servicing guests anymore. You are growing humans for a living. And this has stuck with me to this day. And I was probably told this 10 plus years ago. You are growing people for a living, especially in the salon industry, especially when you're hiring 18, 19, 20-year-olds. You are teaching them how to grow a business, how to build a business, how to become a better human being, especially if you're doing a lot of mentoring, on the outside and you're really pouring into them. You are growing people. All right. So, assistants, the most misunderstood role in the salon. And I truly believe that. I once heard another salon owner in my town call their assistants the help. And I'm putting quotations around the help right now. You guys, I about fell out of my chair. I could not believe that this business called their people the help. I was sad because that's not who they are. Not in my company, not ever. Not inside LG Education. We will never refer to our assistants as the help, because our assistants are not just the help. They're our right hand, our protege, our co-stylist, our everything. We literally couldn't do our jobs without them. Would you guys agree? They're a huge part of our business. All right. So I want to talk about when owners hire out of desperation. How many of you guys have hired out of desperation before? You might be raising your hand right now. I know I have. This creates misalignment, the not so great fits, wrong energy, culture clash, all the things. You guys, I have lived this cycle over and over and over across a 13-year span of being a salon owner. All right. But one thing remains true is I've never stopped hiring. I've never stopped learning and I've never stopped growing. And that has got me into the position that I am today. You got to keep hiring over and over and over and over again. And you will get better. Your hires will get better. Your people will get better. Your culture will get stronger. Hiring an assistant is the first step to having an employee. You can't lead people until you've learned how to train them. Okay? So if you want to have a team, you got to hire. You want to step into mentorship and have an employee, you've got to hire. All right. So let's talk about the emotional side of leadership. I want to share a friend's story from a recent retreat mastermind. Okay. So I'm going to share what happened. We were actually at dinner and they were visiting. And she said, Lacey, I was actually at this recent retreat and mastermind, and I actually overheard another salon owner in there talking about you, talking about LG Education and how she would never take one of your programs or invest in your education due to your turnover. And this stopped me in my tracks. I was kind of already having a bad day and I was like, what the fuck? It's amazing sometimes when you put yourself out there, especially for years and years, how your name ends up in rooms that you're not even in. The good, the bad, the ugly, all the things. And I was like, how dare this person? And she was judging me based on turnover and making assumptions, because I have talked a lot about this on the podcast and on social media this year about losing team members. I've had some very explicit episodes on how I lost 9 team members, or I'm spilling the tea and all the things. And that's the reality of owning a business. That's the reality of being an entrepreneur and growing team members and having a salon. Is like, it's going to happen at some point in your business, and you are extremely naive if you think it won't happen to you. Naive. Okay? Now, I want to help you guys eliminate it getting, to an extreme of a walkout, but sometimes that does happen. It could happen. So my response to this is I was taken back and I was like, "Oh shit, like that's crazy that this person is saying this." And let me just say this too. I don't even know this person. I've never met this person in my life. So my response to this, okay, here's my response. You're not even on the playing field until you've had someone leave your salon or your company. You're still on the sidelines, baby. Maybe walking up, maybe taking your first pitch. But if you've had a walkout in your salon, I say you've hit the grand slam. Welcome to the game. Welcome to the game. This salon owner had maybe hired 1 or 2 people, 1 or 2 team members on her team, like ever. She hasn't even made it to the playing field yet. So that's all I have to say. And I'm going to mic drop it right there. Is like, you don't even know. Like you're just extremely naive to say anything, especially without knowing any context, any background story, anything. Is like, you're still in the baby part of your business. Like you literally have not even walked on the field yet. So I'm going to leave that at that. Hiring is both a financial and emotional investment. We know it's a financial investment. I always say phase 1 of our assistant program is an investment. By the time you hit phase 2, phase 3, yeah, you're going to start to get that return on your investment, because they're going to start bringing in more guests in. They're going to start at least making up for their hourly pay when they are assisting with you behind the chair. But it is financially an investment. But one of their bigger investments that we don't talk about is the emotional investment. Because it is. You're going to have extremely high highs and extremely low lows. And that's part of the game of leadership and having employees. And I'm going to say you cannot be selfish. If I was, I would have given up years ago. And I would have just done the damn thing on my own. Probably would have made a lot more money with a lot less stress. Can you guys relate? How many of you guys right now are just thinking of maybe selling the salon, going back and working in a salon, being a booth renter, working for another commission-based salon because it's easier? It is easier. It's way harder to own a salon. And you have people giving you guidance from all different directions and sources, but there's no playbook on this is exactly how to make this work and make money. Like it's not out there. There's no one way to run a business. And it comes with a lot of emotions and managing people's emotions when you have team members. Okay. So let's talk. That kind of leads me into the hard truths that no one tells you about. All right. Are you guys ready for this? You will be the bad guy sometimes. Not all the time. But I can promise you there's going to be a time where you feel everyone hates you. You pissed everyone off. You made some people leave. You fired some people, or some people quit, and you are going to be the bad guy. You'll have uncomfortable conversations, and you'll have a lot of them. You'll lose sleep. You'll care more than anyone else on your team ever will. No one's going to love your baby like you do, and your baby talking about your salon. You'll want success for them more than they want it for themselves. And I say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. And then one of my favorites is if you avoid confrontation to keep the peace, you'll start a war inside yourself and even inside your company. And every single time you avoid holding someone inside your business accountable, you train your team that your standards don't matter. I'm going to say that one again because it's so good. Every time you avoid holding someone accountable, you train your team that your standards don't matter. So why the hell do we do this? You might be thinking, Lacey, that sounds awful. Why would anyone want to do this? Why would you want to become a salon owner? Because I truly feel that it is one of the most rewarding things you will ever do in your entire life. Think about all the light bulb moments when you're training and teaching behind the chair, and all of a sudden you just see their wheels turning in their thinking, and boom, it clicks. The color formulation, the haircut, the foiling, and they start to build momentum, and their business starts to take off, and they start to build their clientele, and they get their first apartment and their dream cars, and they get married, and they have these beautiful weddings, and then they start having babies. That is why we do what we do, watching people grow because you invested in them because you cared. You might be one of the only people in their lives that have truly cared to pour into them. The feeling of building something bigger than just you, because leadership stretches you. It forces you to become better, not just as a business owner, but as a human being. And when you get it right, and when your team thrives and your culture is booming, you realize you didn't just build a salon, you built a legacy, and that is something worth fighting for. So, the truth about having employees and assistants is hard as hell, but it's also the most meaningful, transformative thing you can ever do inside your business. So keep hiring, keep training, keep hiring, keep training. Don't give up. There is beauty. And if you're in the mud right now, I promise you, it does get easier. It does get better. And every season kind of brings something new, but you are getting stronger and things will start to lighten up a little bit. So put your head down, keep grinding. You've got this. This is me cheering you on every single step of the way. All right. All right. Let's end with, if you are new here, and maybe you're new to the Level Up with Lacey podcast, we have an incredible guide for salon owners to train assistants. It is called our Ultimate Assistant Guide. We have it on sale right now for $99. It's originally a $299 guide. It's inside Canva. It's editable. You can just plug and play, put in your pictures, change the handbook out, put your salon name in, all the things. But you guys, this is your starting point. If you don't know where to start and you're thinking about hiring an assistant in 2026, so I'm talking next year, I would get this baby right now and start editing it. Set yourself up for success. Have a proven handbook that you can lead and train and have a roadmap to follow. All right. So use the code 2025, the coupon code. You guys will get $200 off that guide today. So I'm going to put the link in the show notes. You guys can go grab that now. And as always, I will see you guys right here on the Level Up with Lacey podcast. Same time, same place. Every Monday morning, we release a new episode. I love you guys so much, and we'll catch you guys next week. Bye, guys.